How's it going, gamers? It's Chongo here, and today I've got a video for you guys. I'm going to be talking about the games that have been released recently and how some of them seem to be pretty broken. So let's get into it. So first off, before I get into the extreme cases of games that obviously have problems with them, I want to talk about Dragon Age Inquisition. I've been really enjoying this game, but as you can probably tell, possibly through YouTube, it's a little bit weird when you upload videos to YouTube, but I have been having trouble running this game, even without recording, and having weird frame rates, and that's because for some unknown reason, even though my specs meet all the requirements, the game doesn't run very well at all for me, unless I turn the settings down, which I've got recommended, so I shouldn't really have to do that. So that's a bit weird, and although this isn't really broken or anything, it's just, I think it's part of an issue where we're getting to a stage where games aren't being tested on all these systems, especially with PC, and on consoles they just don't get enough QA time. So this is obviously not the main part of this video. This is just sort of like I thought this was kind of a way to lead into it, considering I don't actually have the main broken games at the moment. So the first broken game I want to talk about is Halo the Master Chief Collection. I was going to pick up this game. I'm glad I didn't on release, since it still seems to have problems with multiplayer. Now the campaign for the game works fine, but multiplayer is still having problems. So this is obviously a big issue for Microsoft. This was going to be a game that was going to move a lot of consoles for them, but obviously that has held back for especially people who waited. If you bought it straight up, then obviously you can have pretty big problems, and I've seen some people talking about it on Reddit saying they're really disappointed that they bought a game that they wanted to play multiplayer for and it doesn't seem to work. Now the next game that seems a little bit, broken as well is Assassin's Creed Unity, with bugs, glitches, just it seems like the worst Assassin's Creed game release pretty much ever at this point, with all the bugs that it's got. And this has caused a lot of people to, get really mad at what's happened with this game, especially, with the way that they say, it's a 3-year development cycle or a 2-year or whatever, or they'll keep making Assassin's Creed games until people don't want them, and it's starting to turn that people don't really want a game that's going to be, really broken and bugs and glitches or anything like that. So I guess the main question to ask is, why are these games coming out broken more than ever now? Is it just because that we can, patch games really quickly now, so that they don't really spend much time with QA and making sure the games are 100%, polished, because they can just quickly chuck out a patch? But I don't really still think that's a really good idea, because that damages their brand in the game before they've even got the patch out. So I don't think that's a really good idea to have that mindset, oh, we'll fix it up after the game's released or anything like that. But I feel the main reason we are seeing all these problems is games are being rushed out the door. They set release dates so solidly, even a year before a game is set to be released. That's extreme. I mean, this is games, there are so many problems that can arise and so many things that you need to create in a game, that setting something in stone so far in advance is really extreme for a game, and I think we need to rethink how release dates are set for games. So I think it also comes back to the fact publishers don't want to delay a game, so since they've already set this release date that's so far in advance, even if the game does need some more time because they underestimated how long something would take, or, anything could have happened. So it just seems really extreme for them to do that, and they don't want to delay a game because that annoys the public, but if you release a broken game, that also annoys the public. So they've got to, compromise, and I feel like with Watch Dogs they delayed it, and thank God that game didn't launch when it did, because even when it did launch, it didn't seem like that good of a game. So who knows what it would have been like if that game had launched, late last year instead of early this year. So I feel like, game delay should be a good thing, but we shouldn't get to a point where a game delay is necessary. I feel like they shouldn't announce release dates until it's 3 to 6 months before release, so that way it's pretty good and they know that the game will be out on time, and that way you don't have any delays, or you're not going to piss off gamers because a game release is buggy. And I think this whole set date down, I think people see November is the biggest release for games, so they get a game, or Ubisoft goes along and they see one of their departments or one of their developers are making a game, they go, okay, we'll launch that for November, and they just say that's how it happens, even though the game may not be anywhere near done for it. And that was obviously the case with Assassin's Creed Unity, and they can't really afford to delay a game like that because it is a yearly release and they don't want to push that into next year. So besides release dates and games being delayed and all that, I feel like their games obviously need more QA time, and that's quality assurance if you don't know. So obviously all these games do have bugs and problems. Now, not all problems can be solved by more QA time, but you can definitely, resolve a lot of them before they hit. So I feel like betas should be used for their actual purpose, which is finding problems with a game and reporting them and getting them fixed, instead of the way that they've been treated over the last couple of years, which is give us money early and you can have access to this game. That should not be how betas are run. That should never happen. It should be, the beta should be free, but maybe they can, I don't know, have some sort of incentive where they give you a discount if you report bugs or glitches in the game, so that way before release they can go through and fix up these issues, and obviously we have a more solid release when the game is launched. So it seems like other forms of media, so take for example movies, they set a release date down, but the release date they set down is, they'll be completely done by the point of that release date, like months done, so they'll just sit on the product that they've got and that'll be that. Whereas games rushing to the point that we get games going gold a month before release, that seems way too close to me. I feel like there should be a little bit more time for them to run through and make sure the game is as solid as it can possibly be, and make sure it's polished, so that way we don't have to deal with games that are broken or, you know, multiplayer not working or anything like that. Anyway, this brings me to the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a like, and if you've got any comments on broken games or anything I've talked about in this video, put them down below, and if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. I'll see you all next time.